right, welcome back to another episode of Out of the Rut. My name is Xavier. I'm going to be your host for today. And today, in the interview seats, I have the co-writers and co-directors for a very popular, very growing popularity YouTube film, Doc 5. Two of the three writers are here, but you guys also directed the film. Yep. Aidan and Wyatt. Shout out to them.
What's up, guys?
Very excited to have you guys here. I had the privilege of watching Doc 5, obviously leading up to this interview, and I have tons of questions. This is actually a part one of a two-part episode, so if you like what we talk about here, feel free to shoot in, or feel free to tune in, not shoot in, do not shoot in. Feel free to tune in. We're going to edit that out. Feel free to tune in for the episode next week. We bring in some of the actors as well as one of the producers for the film to chat with him too and talk about more about behind the scenes elements of Doc 5. But I'm super excited to chat with you guys about this film because I thoroughly had a great time watching it. Yeah. If you haven't, Doc 5, it's on YouTube, but we're going to dive into it right now. But as I always like to start with most of these episodes, I want to just chat about the different ruts that you guys have experienced kind of leading up to this moment. Aidan, we'll start with you, man. Any prominent ruts in your life that you've experienced up to this point that you feel has sort of shaped who you are as an artist and as a person?
Oh, always. Yeah. I mean, for whatever reason, like I get nervous like for everything I do.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
I was like a little bit nervous to talk today, even though I'm like we're really just talking. Like there's really nothing to be
we're
nervous
just vibing, bro.
Exactly.
But seriously.
But like, yeah, your brain will think like worst case scenario always, and then at the end of the day, I've always done it. Like before I did like this was like the biggest movie like I've ever like done at the time. First feature that I like wrote with like my buddies. Yeah. First feature that I made. So going into it was extremely just nervous, and then of course like did it, one take at a time, one scene at a time, and then we got it made. But like before that, just like even though just like doing short films, like I'd be excited day of, get really nervous, and then I don't know, like sometimes my brain, like I got OCD and there'll be like random things that my brain's focusing on. And then when I get anxious, my brain focuses on those things even more because it doesn't want that to ruin it, blah, blah, blah. But what I've just noticed is that, you always get through it. You always just make a plan. You surround yourself with good people and you get it done. And so I guess just throughout my life, it's been a lot of moments where I'm really excited to do something. I'm passionate. It's coming up. I'm nervous. All of a sudden, I'm like, you know what? Maybe I don't want to do this. And then you do it and you're like, glad I did it. And it's just that. And it gets easier, but, it's a pattern.
Sure.
And I think what I've been understanding the last few years of my life is that that's a pattern that will just keep happening. And that's fine.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably those are the big, and just each time that happens, those are like the big, I would say ruts, just with anything I do. But
the mental ruts and the needing to overcome different obstacles. And like you said, that's kind of life. Life is always going to throw more at you. And are you going to let it cripple you or are you going to like push through it? And 9 times out of 10, I feel like if you push through it, you realize at the other end, like, it wasn't that bad. Or like, hey, made it through.
Exactly, man.
I ain't dead yet, so that's cool. No, hell yeah, dude. How about you, Wyatt? Any big ruts in your life that you've experienced, brother?
Well, I just want to say one of the things that Aidan touched on was something you say frequently not only about the projects that you tackle, but for the stuff that I do and for the stuff that one of the other co-writers for the film does too, Vincent. Something you say frequently is the project you're looking forward to, it's your favorite project is the next one.
Yeah.
So that's definitely one of the ruts I find myself in sometimes. That and time management.
Sure.
I would say we're always juggling. Aidan too, juggling so many different things. I'm an MBA student as well. I'm taking classes throughout the week. I work part-time as well, but also just making time to hang out with friends and finding time to continue filmmaking and bringing these stories that we have to life. That's always a challenge, but one that I embrace.
That's cool.
And also ensuring that we follow through with the projects that we start.
Yeah.
Because that's, I think, we tend to have a lot of ideas, but I think we always try to find the opportunity to see through those projects that we start.
No, and I think you bring up an important point too of like the importance of follow through because especially in like today's age where it's like our brains are firing off in a million one different directions. Like you said, you're a student, you work part-time, you're trying to like create this artistic career in a field that's tough and takes a lot of time out of you. It's like you do yourself a disservice if you get too bogged down in all of the various pathways, and it's like, okay, well, I can have all these pathways working, but I do need to see them through to the end, because that's where the growth happens, and that's where the actual learning and the feeling of success happens. Is like, once it's done, it's like, nice, I created something, and that's fucking cool, you know. No, I freaking love that, guys. And like, you guys, you know, are obviously like young creatives, like, going into both of your backgrounds, like, where did your interest in film start? Before we go into the topics of horror and found footage film specifically, but like, where did the interest in film for both of you guys sort of stem from? And do you feel like your feelings about it have changed over the course of your time as students and stuff?
You want to take this one first?
Yeah. Well, when I was super young, I have to give credit to my dad for really getting me into some of my favorite films. He really enjoyed science fiction, so he introduced me to the Star Wars films, which I don't think I remember seeing the original 6 films for the first time, just because he showed them to me before I was conscious to have a memory, or capable of having any kind of memory. They were just ingrained in me. But yeah, so I was just in love with films throughout my entire life. But I would say the pivotal point where I really gave it some thought in terms of, wow, could I see myself doing this throughout my life, was in high school. I had a teacher, Dominic Kegel, who actually was an executive producer on this film.
Oh, cool.
Shout out to him. Yeah.
Dude, so, huge shout out.
Yeah, he was a video production teacher, and he kind of taught me the ins and outs of filmmaking. That was really the first opportunity I had to get my feet wet, to touch a camera, and to really just begin to harness the craft, you could say. Yeah. And that was something that Aidan and I had the luxury in doing when we met for the first time, was we took turns showing each other our short films that we made in high school.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So what was your experience with film in high school then? Because like, I could tell you from my personal experience, like, we didn't have like a really robust AV curriculum at my school growing up. So it was like, we were kind of limited with like how we could really find expression through different mediums like that. Like, was that different for you guys in your guys' school experience? Did you guys like dive in, you know, right in junior high school age of getting into this work?
Yeah, my high school, I went to Deerfield High School. We had like a film class you could go to.
Oh, cool, sick.
And yeah, and it was also like like Deerfield High School, DHS, so we had DHS News. And so there was like some classes where we would like film like for the show, and then there's other classes where we'd be just working on like our own like, you know, short films. Like we had to make like a 5-minute long short film, and then get together in a certain amount of time, then show it to the class. And then some days they would just let you, work on the computers and write a film.
Hey, that's cool.
Yeah. And then I go to DePaul, and then a lot of people just didn't have that luxury, which is just so unfortunate.
Yeah.
But it was definitely like, my entire life, I loved movies. Like I live in a family of 3 siblings,
okay.
and then so 3 of my siblings and both my parents were like watching these movies. Like we just used to have all these movie nights growing up, and like that, like whenever, like we'd either do like a board game night or just whatever, or we're just hanging out in general, or I don't know, but. Like whenever my dad said movie night, I was excited. Like those were the best.
That was your time.
Those were the best nights.
Let's cook.
Yeah, exactly. I just remember little things like the end of like the movie. My dad would go be like, "Good show," and he'd be like, "All right, bedtime," or something.
All right, moving on. Yeah, get your ass in bed, kid.
Yeah. Nah, hope you enjoyed Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Squeakquel's the best one.
Yeah, dude, give me that Squeakquel, bro. Give me the Squeakquel.
Yes. You're not even lying. But yeah, so and then grew up. I actually really liked just acting, like the idea of acting. And I would just I would do like shows in elementary school and like middle school, and then I did a little bit in high school, and then at one point I was just kind of like, I think I like acting, but I think I also just like movies, like, because it's always movies where I'm like watching like performances and I'm watching like some of my favorite actors, and then one day I'm just like, honestly, like I want to just kind of make one, because I think I've been And then I realized it. I'm like, oh my gosh, like all my life I've been acting in my own, like I've been like, my mom lets me borrow her iPad when I was in like first grade, and I'm like making my own movie about like something like random stuff. And iMovie had those things where you can make your own trailer.
Yeah.
And so I made some.
You just play around with that for a while.
Yeah, and she will like send it to me, and like I'm just like, I don't know what I was thinking at the time, but like because I'm making some wild stuff.
You were pretty big on Vine too.
And then Vine,
Dude, Vine, man. Throw back to Vine.
Might have been a gateway, I think, in terms of, because like I remember like my siblings or my older brother and his friends, they had Vine.
Yeah.
And I was always in second grade, like, hey, you guys want to make a Vine real quick?
I'm gonna make some Vines. Let's go.
Like we want to write one together. Then I finally, my like the iPhone 4, when that was a thing, my sister,
How far we've come.
How far
Seriously.
we've come. Yep, when it had a home button.
Oh God. Oh God.
And yeah, my sister was just like, oh yeah, you can it's her old phone. She gave it to me, and I went nuts. I made so many Vine videos.
Oh, hell yeah.
And so I look back at those, and they're super fun. And then high school came around, and I finally decided to make a movie kind of like during my sophomore year. And then COVID hit. And then I'm just spending.
I was gonna ask. Keep going, but I was gonna ask when COVID hit in terms of this coming up in film for you guys.
Absolutely,
because I'm sure that shaped a shit ton of stuff. But keep going, keep going.
No, yeah, man, it's So COVID came up, and that's when I started taking film classes at Deerfield like junior year, and then took it senior year. And that was actually able to be in person, which was nice.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, like going on TikTok, it was just, I was getting all these, I still saved pretty much all of them. And they're just saying top 10 movies, people are just giving their top 10 list, top 10 Scorsese movies, or just whatever. You have to, if you haven't seen this one, you got to add this to your list.
Yeah.
And so I started to make it fun. I made a Google document. And each time I saw a movie, I would mark it down. And,
that's cool.
Yeah, and so and at the end of the year, so I started March 19th, my sophomore year, because that's when COVID hit. And then every year, I just restart on March 19th, and I see how many I watch. And the most I've ever watched in the course of a year is 250 movies.
Jesus. I'm sure in reality that's not that many, but just the idea of hitting triple digits at all in films, I'm just Jesus. Oh. Yeah. Hey, it's research, baby. That's research.
Each movie's a journey. It's
yeah.
But then I met someone, this is the last thing I'll say, but I met someone who said I've seen 380 movies in a year, and I'm like,
and you're bet.
I'm there's 365 days in a year, and they're just yeah.
Yeah, you do the math, man. You do the math. Doubling up on some days, I'm sure. Just binging some films.
That's what I mean. A movie a day. It's crazy.
I mean, if that's what you're passionate about, what do they say? 10,000 hours into something to get good. The same as with film too. Totally. A lot of that stuff is research, man. We talked about this before recording, and the idea of just having me growing up in that kind of time when YouTube was sort of just starting to pick up as far as an actual entertainment medium. And watching it so long and being you know what, I want to just figure out how this is done, because I've spent so much time watching it, and some things look hard, some things don't. I'm sure I could figure it out. You know what I mean? Totally. But it's all research. It's all market research, bro.
And when Aidan and I met, one of the first things that we did as we were developing this idea for Doc 5 was we created a list of found footage films.
Oh my God.
And dude, we went one by one and just watched each one. Mm-hmm. And all of these films, the budget had a range to all of these films.
Yeah.
Some of them were only made for a couple $1,000s, which is what we made Doc 5 for. And then some of them were in the millions, kind of more
big budget blockbusters.
Yeah, but kind of what you were saying, as we were watching each film, we were consolidating notes, because I think there were certain things that we were observing where we were okay, this would work really well in our film, and maybe these other decisions in certain films wouldn't be the best thing to utilize.
It was kind of fun, just making lists. We're just all right, so not allowing the audience to there's a danger in the scene, not allowing the audience to completely see that danger for a solid portion of the scene, so the audience is constantly like turn the camera so we can see the danger.
Yeah.
And then we're just like,
know it's there. It's just off screen. I didn't know it's there.
Yeah, and we're just like, ooh, like we watched like I remember like we watched Exists.
Yes.
And they had a lot of moments like that, and we were just kind of like, oh, okay, you know, we're like writing all that. We're like writing all that down. So it was just So it's like research, but we were just having like, we're just
having a good
watching
time.
just watching in each other's dorms, just having a good time.
Dude, I mean, that's cool, man. And before we get into the deep into the found footage elements, like when did your guys' relationship take off? And like what was your guys' creative meet cute essentially as a duo of being like, hey, you know what? I have this passion. I also have this passion. Let's bring them together and make something fucking cool, you know? Like tell me a little bit about that background.
Yeah. I can go or you can start.
I mean, I'll just begin with we hit it off right away when we met. We met at DePaul. We lived in the same dormitory.
Yeah.
And again, just the second we met each other, we had very similar trajectories and experiences in high school.
Yeah.
And our ambitions aligned in terms of being interested to tackle a found footage film as kind of our next big project. Now, a few weeks went by after the start of our first quarter at DePaul.
Yeah.
And we became really good friends with Vincent Anderson, the co-writer on the film as well.
Oh, cool. Yeah, yeah.
And I think we were on our way to see Bodies, if I remember correctly. If you've seen that film.
I have, yes.
Okay, yeah. We had a great time.
It was a fun time.
Really
I had a
for
good
sure.
time with it.
But we had to make a stop up at Potbelly for dinner first.
Delicious.
That was that was a turning point in our lives. This one Potbelly visit.
Yes,
this one time at Potbelly.
This one conversation that took place at Potbelly. We were all just kind of fanboying over some of our favorite found footage films. I mean, we brought up the biggest one to this day, the Blair Witch Project.
Yeah.
But there are other memorable ones, such as...
We brought up Cloverfield because that's Matt Reeves, and we're like, like, because I love the Batman, and then like Vince was like, he directed like Cloverfield. I'm like, what? Like,
You gotta check this out.
Yeah. And Paranormal Activity is a good one,
Another
too.
big popular ones, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think we watched this later on, Creep.
Yeah. Creep was, yeah.
And then that was one of our
two.
biggest inspirations because we're like, these guys just made this movie. It's on Netflix, and like, it's like it has our attention the entire way through.
Yeah. But it was like we had this shared realization that I think all three of us were hungry to make a feature film.
Yeah.
We had made some short films and we were like, okay, what?
We could tackle something a little bigger. We could challenge ourselves a little bit more.
But doing a found footage film felt right because you can make it for an incredibly low budget. It is, I think, a little less daring compared to having a higher budget, but also shooting the film in a more traditional sense.
Yeah.
Because I think found footage, you can get away with certain things like keeping the camera rolling for a long period of time. The characters are oftentimes the camera operators, but also it's a timeless genre.
Yeah.
And just by talking about the opportunity about it, we incrementally started to develop the narrative for it.
The thing that I find kind of cool about found footage films is like, and I don't know if this is the right way or right term to call it, but it feels very much like a blue collar like film format because it feels very immersive and it feels very accessible for someone like me who doesn't have a lot of camera experience to where like I'm watching it and I'm seeing the camera move and interact with people in real time. And it feels authentic to how someone like me would operate a camera in this moment, you know? Even like, not to give way too much of the film yet, but it follows, for those listening, it follows a group of people trying to shoot a film in Wisconsin. But it feels like even though the person operating the camera is trying to shoot a film, it feels authentic to the viewer of like the shaky camness, the random shots where there's like kind of like open space where there isn't much happening and that constant camera rolling feel. It feels very blue collar in that way of like, oh, someone like me could have filmed this, but there's still such a strong focal point of what is happening to keep the story moving.
Totally.
Which kind of brings me kind of to the writing portion because you guys are two of the three writers on the film. Was there You guys have had experience writing short film. Were your guys' short films kind of in a similar vein to Doc 5, or were they kind of drastically different, more scripted, things like that?
I mean, Wyatt can attest to this. I mean, I feel like one of the biggest moments where we realized, like, where we even started talking about found footage in the first place is because he made one called Location.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Very loosely, Doc 5 is very loosely based on location because you have three of the same characters. You
Sure.
have Finley, Max, and Ryan.
Yeah, yeah.
Where actually in this short film I played Ryan.
Yeah.
But this was just a
Yeah.
this was a class assignment that I made at my junior year in high school.
Yeah, so like you're not working with budgets and shit. You're
Yeah, but it was a totally different premise because we filmed this at some abandoned location. That's why we called it Location.
Yeah.
And we were initially planning on calling this film Location. That was its very first title.
Okay.
We'll get through all the titles we went through
Definitely.
to get to Doc 5.
Okay.
Drastically different. But yeah, so and that was about I think that was the longest short film I had made too. But
Which was roughly about how long?
22 minutes,
22 minutes?
Yeah, around
okay.
that.
So, I mean, so Doc 5, big difference, because this one runs about hour 15,
An hour
hour
10.
20, right?
Yeah,
or something like that?
Yeah,
And
but
the original cut was hour 25.
Oh, dang. Okay, so there's an uncut version somewhere. There's there's a raw, unedited version of Doc 5 somewhere.
Oh, my God.
yeah.
That's cool, though. That's cool.
No, for sure. And so again, just scaling that upward into doing a feature film, I felt very sure that I knew Aidan was hungry to do it too. So it did not take long for us to begin piecing the story together. I remember we would go on these long walks around campus and just brainstorm. Anything that came to mind, just jot it down.
Hey, I love that.
Yeah, and then slowly construct the story from there.
Now, from the writing perspective, because found footage is meant to feel so like in the moment and authentic, did you guys throughout the writing process ever have a hard time writing for what is meant to be so candid and so in the moment of like how did the writing work? Because you don't want to make anything to feel too scripted.
Yeah.
Because again, it's a found footage film that's meant to be viewed as if it's real life in real time. Mm-hmm. But also, you need to have it scripted to some degree because you need to move the narrative along. You know, what was the writing process like, and was that something you guys had to refine over the course of the process, or it was like, you know what, we're gonna fucking just shoot it and go, dude?
I think how I approach every project, especially after we start, because we wrote this one by going all right, how many characters are there, and then we just dove into each character. I don't know what it is. I give them last names. I get really deep into each one. They're just
what was their GPA? Well, yeah, we're going back.
I'm just
nitty gritty.
So many random facts about them that will never be seen in the movie. But once we talked about that and we had all the characters, that's when we felt ready to be all right. So we already know we want to start 5 kids, go into a cabin, classic setup. But what can be, a fun little spin that we put on that? And then we just went from there. And a big part was acting it out. Is sometimes we were just because I feel like we had a feeling that I kind of wanted to play Ryan, and I was I was okay. And then as we're doing it, we get more and more excited about it. And I'm just so I'm just basically being Ryan, and then they're just being the other characters, and we're that's kind of fun ways we'll come up with dialogue. I mean, we would just do these sessions where we'd go to the library and the library has 4 floors. First one, everyone's talking, so we didn't feel like we were being a nuisance. But we're at this round table and Wyatt's got the script displayed on this monitor.
Oh hell yeah!
And we're it's like a board meeting,
and it's like a round. It's a round table. Yeah. We're taking a look at it. And
then we'd come dressed up too.
Oh yeah, dude. Hey, we're professional. We're making it happen.
Making that up. I'm sorry.
Well, at least I would.
No problem, guys. No problem.
No, but and one of the goals though, because this was all taking place in the fall of 2022.
Okay.
Yeah. When we were slowly putting together the story. And I think this was one of the most important things that you and I decided on, Aidan, was we wanted to set a strict deadline for New Year's Eve to have a first draft of the script.
Which is definitely the smartest way to go.
Yeah. I was just going to say too, I think it disciplined us to just get the first draft out of the way. Nobody is going to read the first draft except for Aidan, Vincent, and myself because it was horrendous. It was so horrible. But that's expected with the first draft.
Yeah.
That's
why it's a first draft.
That's why it's the first draft. The most important thing is that
it's a first draft.
It's a first draft.
Yeah.
The most important thing is you have to have something to work with. And that gave us then the opportunity leading into 2023 to say, okay, here's our crappy draft. Let's have these sessions at the library. Let's go 5 pages at a time each night and really crack down on, each of the characters, understand who each one is. I think that's when the first time we wrote it, the characters were very one-dimensional.
Yeah.
I'd say maybe even the first 2 drafts, the characters felt that way.
Okay.
Yeah. Each draft got substantially better. And we didn't stop writing up until the end of 2023, which is when we actually set off to go shoot it.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
So sorry. How many drafts did you guys go through before you getting to this point?
4 or 5?
I think 5. 5 sounds right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting because whenever I write a first draft of anything, I actually have a weird confidence in it. I feel pretty good.
You're like, nailed this first try, dude.
That's what I mean. I'm like,
pointed, shot, good go.
I'm just
dude.
maybe just throw in some fun synonyms to make the writing
Totally
look
get
a
that.
little.
I'm the same way.
And then you read it and you're like, ugh, yeah.
Or you hear someone else read it and you're like, oh, that sounded like shit.
Yeah.
And I think that's where, because Vincent, I think, came into freshman year of college. He had, I think, the most experienced screenwriting out of the 3 of us. Would you say so?
Oh, yeah.
Because he wrote, he's written all sorts of stuff, but he writes, short stories as well. He's very articulate and very good at just visual description. So he was just an essential third piece to our dynamic.
Yeah.
So, because I think we took the reins on the first draft, just getting it done, crossing the finish line, and then when he came in, he drilled down on all of the things that
he's not afraid to speak his mind. And what I love about Vince is that if he doesn't if he doesn't like something or he thinks he can be better, he can perfectly articulate why. Instead of just being like, I don't know, that's how I feel.
That's a skill.
It's
sure.
Yeah, there are times where
a lot of people have feelings but don't know how to articulate them, and that's where the progress happens. Is I need to know why you're feeling this way, how we fix this shit. Dude.
Exactly. Are you wrong for feeling that? No, it's just that if we're trying to, dive into it, it's we need some help. But so he would like tell us immediately. He'd be like, character wouldn't do that.
And I'm like, okay, but why though?
Yeah.
And he's like, well, let me tell you.
Yeah, and he'd be like, this would he would like he just like he'd
we would get into heated arguments too about the script sometimes, which I mean all of that to say is we were all just incredibly invested in it.
Yeah.
But
that's a level of showing a level of care in the project.
And,
it never felt personal, which to anyone witnessing it, they'd be like, oh my gosh, this seems like
these 3 fucking hate each other.
Is this gonna break? This can make or break the friendship, right? But no, it was part of the process, and then after we're done, we're just like, all right, we'll pick it up tomorrow.
Heck yeah. Honestly, kudos to you guys for being able to separate those 2 things too, because I feel like that is also something that a lot of people struggle with coming up in any industry, not even just the artistic ones. Is checking your ego at the door of hey, this is a collaborative project, so people are gonna give their input and have opinions and have thoughts, and none of it's personal, but we all essentially have the same goal of wanting this project to be fucking cool as hell, which means we have to be able to take everybody's feedback and everybody's opinion and stuff. So honestly, the fact that you guys at the young age that you guys are coming up in this industry and trying to make a go out of this, I feel like that is one of the harder things to learn, and it's if you can muster that or get through that, it's everything else, it's all just easy, I imagine, at that point.
Absolutely.
Sure, not 100% easy, but easier.
Yeah, there's just something about because we've been friends for for months up until that point, and so
which is still not very long. That's a young friendship.
That's true. But we would do arguments about movies. We'd go out to see one, and then we'd talk about it the whole walk home, and
facilitate checks and balances between us. We even try to set up this rule where if 2 of us liked an idea and one of us didn't, majority rules. But I don't think that lasted very long because the odd one out would always feel unheard.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah,
and would just lose all faith in the project altogether.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I was kind of the mediator, for the most part.
Yeah.
It's just funny because what I grew up with is that I didn't argue with my friends as crazily as like Vince and Wyatt will like get into arguments. I assume when they did that the first time, I thought it was like, I was like, talking to them afterwards. I'm like, yo, you guys like okay? And they're just like, oh yeah, man, what's up?
You're like, yeah, dude, we're gonna go grab some food or some shit. You good?
Exactly. Yeah. And I'm just
that's so fucking cool though. Yeah.
I'm like, okay. And then so that just kind of became, I'm like, all right, so that's kind of like, I didn't realize that that's like a thing. Like it's basically, I don't know, a similar premise to like brothers, like you'll fight, but at the end of the day, it's just kind of like, all right, what's up?
And I'm sure, and honestly, like after hearing kind of the origin story too of Doc 5, like I feel like that dynamic isn't unexpected because again, it's sort of dealing with the foundation of this show or this movie location.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it's like I'm sure Wyatt at the time felt like he's like I have a lot of autonomy over this because this is sort of like the base work of what we're kind of building this off of. Whereas Vincent had a lot more screenwriting experience, as you guys said, kind of in that process.
At the same time, though, I emphasized. I said this shouldn't be based on the short film.
Yeah.
Sure, if we want to,
take some inspiration from it.
If we want to take inspiration, we can, but we got to make this its own thing. Ultimately. Yeah. And that was, it just it just improved the process and the story having more minds come together and shape the thing.
Yeah, and it's I think it's a testament to your guys' work ethic and your collaborative efforts too. Because like I said, that's a hard dynamic to build, especially with what is a very young friendship amongst you three creatives, right? Like people who've been friends for years lose it over a lot easier or a lot smaller scale shit than something like autonomy or having just a say in the creative process of this film and the screenwriting process. So kudos to you guys, man. Kudos to you. Insane that you guys were able to figure that out. Keeping on obviously the topic and keeping the kind of story going, you have your writing team, right? You have you three collaborating together, kind of formulating what this movie's going to be. Once you guys kind of got through around draft 3 and 4, kind of towards the end of the drafting process, when did the picture become a lot bigger and you start adding more bodies into the mix, actors, producers, things like that?
I think like a thing a lot of like people writing a screenplay is that they have an idea or genre they want to tackle, and then there just comes a point where it feels complete, but also they start to see themes or like messages they haven't really like maybe wasn't their original intention, but they're like this has something like because every filmmaker has something to say. Yeah, like we didn't realize that the film we made, it was almost a little bit about what it's like to work on small movie sets and maybe have people working on those sets that may not treat the cast and crew with the utmost respect as they should. And that's an actual like issue. And the movie kind of has like fun with that and like almost in a satirical sense. And people can watch that and just be like, yeah, like, why does that happen? Like, that's really dumb. And like, maybe they'll watch out for that more. So we were like seeing those themes. And I think that was like the point where I was like, we not only have a story, but we really have a message to push out. And now, like when we tell people about it, we can mention that aspect, and that makes it just that just like I feel like widens the scope for people like understanding what we're going for and being like, okay, like I can get into this.
Well, the other thing, my next question too is like because you guys are a group of creatives creating a found footage film about a group of people creating a small or a short film or an indie film,
a little romance,
a little this, little that. But like, did you guys ever like have like arguments in the writing room and you're like, okay, we're gonna write this into the script or we're gonna write something like this because it's kind of what we're following some of these characters kind of tackle in the film also, that idea of like, this is my project and I want to make it good, or like people aren't following through on the areas that they felt like they said they were going to like push through on. Did you feel like any of those real life elements made its way into the film?
Oh, into the film.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I think there's a
like Wyatt and Vincent just going at it and Aidan in the corner being writing this down and be like, cool, this is a scene. Cool.
I know what you're and I know what you're asking, because I think for every single character in the film, I think there is minus Ryan being a psychopath, I think there's a small extension of Aidan, Vincent, and myself in like each of the characters. Yeah. Because I think we understand both ends of Ryan's frustration down to just him being impatient with the actors and the crew who are voluntarily helping him with his film. And then we also understand their point of view where it's like, okay, like this guy takes himself way too seriously. He's, we're going on this trip to, we're making a film, but we also want to have a good time while we're here. We want to drink, we want to go skiing. And I think some of those conversations that we've had, at least in the writer's room, I think it allowed us to share some of our best and worst experiences with working on film sets, infuse that into the story, and dramatize it.
Yeah, and it's also kind of a sense of like, everyone has met Orion at some point, somebody who was so into film to the point where they don't really seem to be too in contact with reality. Like they seem to be very...
they're a little lost in delusion a little bit.
They're lost in delusion where like they're looking at everything too deeply, and they just have a very opinionated voice that they treat as objective. And we're just kind of like, all right, so let's take that and have a lot of fun with it. And then like, how do you typically react to that? Because there are times where he'll like say something like, oh, we don't want to use that camera because that'll ring amateur. And like, we're just like, like if that happened to me, I'd probably also respond like with because the character respond with like, all right. Cool. All right. Like we're like, it would be an awkward situation. So we just had a lot of fun with that.
We did. Yeah.
I was gonna say the character of Ryan, I found really interesting too, because he does get lost in this delusion a little bit of what he wants this film to be. And I think it does speak kind of volumes as far as like the intent of wanting to make a film, right? Because like it seems that Ryan as a character, like, has a lot of faith in this project, which is good. Like you want that, but like his desire to want to make this project isn't because he wants to make something meaningful and impactful. It's because he sees the stardom at the end of the road, and he's like, we need to do this because this will lead to this. And it's like, but like that's not often like what resonates with people when watching a film. It's like, what is the impact you want to make? And I think because he has the almost the finish line in sight versus like the steps along the way, he gets lost in that delusion of of this is the end product. This is what I need to do to get it. I'm going to make it happen. And it's like, okay, but like there are other people here, and like there is a progress to this that would probably mean more to the viewer if we did it this way.
That's a great way to put it.
But he's so into the ending result of it being amazing that he almost doesn't care what happens in between.
That's apparent with Ryan's script in the film. He is very focused on, like you said, the potential fame and the stardom following this journey, where he doesn't see that there are flaws with the script that they're going off of in the film. And I think when writing that script in the film, The Ashes of the Burnt Heart, I don't think we did any revisions. I think we said, let's make this as bad as possible. Yeah. And it stayed exactly the same throughout all 4 drafts.
Oh, shit. I mean, that's kind of cool. And like, so staying on to the writing portion, I want to talk about like how you ended up recruiting the actors and finding your producer team and things like that too. But like, because again, the authenticity of the writing or the desire to make it feel like a genuine found footage film, like how much freedom did the actors have with your guys' work, with your script writing, and how much of it was just like, hey, say what's on the page because there's a reason why you need to say X, Y, or Z.
Yeah, I've always like whenever like working with actors, I always like to give them the freedom to have fun with it. Or sometimes they just want it to be straightforward, and I'm like, all right, we can be straightforward with it. Because every actor is different. Sure. But I just know that in a way, actors are also writers. So Will Campbell, who played Max in the movie, he was a buddy of mine before this, and I worked on a set with him, and he's just a very fun, charismatic guy. And I'm just like, I think you can like bring that to this movie. And, there were so many scenes we had that we couldn't like, have, but he's like basically just like going on these like amazing tangents. And like, we are deliberating for like weeks in the editing process if we want to keep those scenes. Yeah. But I just feel like you give those opportunity to actors, they will take it, and also just adds a bit of like a feel of authenticity and naturalism. And I just think that as someone who also likes to act, I think that kind of freedom goes a long way. But that being said, there could be times where we're just like, all right, we do want to do one where you have a lot of fun with it, but for this specific scene, we do want to make sure we do get this point across. So we got to make sure we nail this part. And then and if we got time, it's just like, all right, let's just have some fun with it.
Cool. Yeah. See how we can kind of add actual human elements to this.
Yeah.
For sure. When it came down to just the interactions of the characters, not necessarily getting into like the horror elements, I would say there was so much freedom that you included and the other actors had in terms of just taking the scene in a certain direction. Because you could have said something that wasn't on the script, and then whoever was next to say their line might have went off of the thing that you said, and then had to eventually find their way to segue into what the purpose was for the scene.
Yes, and
yes,
improv.
exactly. Yeah, no, the improv skills that you and the other actors had were perfect. I think they were one of the funniest scenes in the film, which is at around the halfway point when you guys are playing Cards Against Humanity. That whole scene, we had none of that written on the page. It was just we opened with characters are playing Cards Against Humanity.
Yep.
And then we delve into the start of the second night. But
we also just played Cards Against Humanity.
Exactly.
So like whatever was on the card, we would read.
Yeah, and like you need those moments because like it does, one, adds a moment of levity between tension, but it also like, again, it humanizes these characters, and it again as
for sure.
again going back to like the idea of this being a blue collar format, it's like you are watching characters authentically like relate to the audience because it doesn't feel overly scripted. It doesn't feel like it's manufactured interactions between people. It's like this is just genuine people just having a good time, and it's like we as an audience can see that and read into that, especially in a found footage film. Where again you want to feel like you're in on the interactions and you are the cameraman as an audience member, you know?
Yeah.
So that's freaking cool, man. You guys, I will say that I was blown away by the project when I watched it. I watched it 2 times, almost 3 times, but about 2. Yeah, I watched it twice. Yeah, because obviously I wanted to make sure that when we talked, I actually knew what the fuck we were talking about. But also like I had such a good time with it that first time that I didn't have a problem watching it the second time and really like looking in the areas where I wasn't expecting or where I didn't necessarily watch the first time and trying to catch different nuances, because there are those moments where you really can, as an audience member, see the relationship between these people and how authentic it is.
Did you find yourself picking up on more the second time watching?
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed that. Like again, like this I'm really into this. I'm getting into anime right now. But I'm really into this show, Attack on Titan. Great freaking, if you've never watched anime before, don't start with it because it's goated and you'll have a hard time watching any other anime after that. But like something that I enjoyed with this, but I'm enjoying with that too, is like the idea that you guys had a very clear image going into it where you were starting and where you wanted to go, and you guys were able to bake that into the writing process in a way that felt like it felt intentional, and it felt like not an afterthought. And I think that's something that happens a lot in television that doesn't know where it's going over the seasons and over the years. Is you don't realize how much foreshadowing and how much nuggets of information you could put when you have a very clear image of where you want to get to. And it seemed like everyone on your creative team, writers, producers, and actors, seemed to have a very clear idea of what that was too, and were able to sort of play into that too. And that's just, it's cool to watch. I very much enjoyed that about the second watch. But moving on to location, like when you guys wrote the script, did you guys have a location specifically in mind, or did that come kind of later on after?
That is an excellent question.
Because so much of the movie is about the location, and the location creates the mood, and the mood is essential in every film, but again, especially in a found footage film.
Yeah, and that's like, I think as you begin to get your feet wet with making films, I think when you don't have, especially with student filmmaking, I think when you don't have access to a lot of resources and you're making it for like a very small budget, I think you always start with that, is first assessing, okay, if you want to make a horror film, great, but what do you have access to first? I don't think we necessarily went into the story first before I told you, hey, like, I think I have a really good setting for a found footage movie. My relatives have a cabin up in the northern woods of Wisconsin. And I said, hey, if we can access this and we just write the entire story around this one place, we're going to save so much money just from just because we have access to it. So I think That's one of the most important things I think for filmmakers in general to do is just start with what you have access to and tell the story around those things. I mean, and even the projects that we've done over the last 2 years, I mean, that's always been our starting point.
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, that's cool. Like I found that interesting too, because like again, just the interest from behind the scenes. It's like, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? It's like, what came first, the location or the script? Right. And like, what hurdles that would have come across if you guys wrote this script being like, yeah, we'll find a place. And then it's like, what the fuck do you do? Finding a spot that can really accommodate what you need.
Our budget would have just tripled because a lot of our expenses would have just gone towards an Airbnb.
Yeah.
Or some other rental property.
And how long was the on-location filming process?
8 days. So we spent 8 days on the property. Mm-hmm. It was a total of 10 days that we took to actually complete the film. Okay. And 2 of those days was just us driving from Chicago up to the lake house, because that was like a 7-hour drive. That was long.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah. Surprise. Yeah. That chair goes back.
My
bad. No. You're good.
That was a 7-hour drive.
And like that's kind of where a lot of not to spoil nothing, but that's sort of where the film takes place, is this drive. So it was like I'm sure it kind of worked out where I was like, okay, cool, we have this drive we already have to go on. Let's film some of these driving scenes and knock that out in the process. Okay, cool. So we have the location, we have a little bit of the script starting to formulate out. Did you guys do any rehearsal? Like, was all the rehearsals outside of the location and to the point where it was like, okay, cool, we're here, this is go time? Or was it like first 2 days we kind of rehearsed the different scenes and then we shot like the last 5 days or so?
Yeah, I remember when we were first just like, got, our cast and everything, we did just kind of like, like what would you say, like test footage? Would you call it, like when we were in the Ion building?
We did, yeah. It was both test footage, but also rehearsals.
Yeah.
For our core cast.
Yeah, because we want to know how it looked, like, because we just like set up chairs and we're like, all right, pretend this is a car. And we wanted to
that was so fun, by the way. I don't think anybody really stuck to the script with their lines.
No.
I'm sure it's hard to, like, that is like such a hard thing to like pantomime what you're supposed to be doing. Like,
having to it's not
it's like you're driving like Vin Diesel so Fast and Furious, but it's like no one drives like that. Chill out, bro. Chill on the wheel. Okay.
Continue though.
It's like, just pretend you're in a car, dude. I'm just like, just cruising.
It's like, why do you keep moving the wheel? You should never move.
Dude, your feet aren't even on the pedals. What the hell?
Yeah, the setup was hilarious too. It was just 2 kitchen chairs as the driving passenger seat.
The couch was the back seat.
And then we used our living room couch as the
back that's seat. Hilarious. I mean, you got to make do with what you have, man.
Yeah,
you got to do it.
Exactly.
Did anything change when you guys hit location to where like, okay, we wrote this scene, but now that we're here, this shit ain't working. We got to avert.
Luckily, I feel like, we had a good idea of just kind of how it would work. The only thing we struggled with was Wyatt and Vince had to hang out in the back, the trunk essentially, right?
Oh, when we filmed the scene in the car.
Yeah, because everything else was like, this is how everyone was sitting during the rehearsal. That's great.
Yeah.
But we needed someone to monitor the audio levels and all that.
Which, not safe, by the way. Don't, looking back on that, I still think
don't try this at home,
it's maybe one of the stupidest things I've ever done. But yeah, so Vince and I were cooped up in the back of a car.
Yeah.
As Will and the other guys. Well, Will was driving, and we were driving through a pretty secluded forest.
Yeah.
So again, we were really the only car in that area. But I remember we were in there for so long, I think my entire leg fell asleep.
That's
so when
hilarious.
I got out, I was hobbling on one foot.
Well, that's kind of the cool thing. Well, I mean, the cool thing, like, dumb, sure, dangerous, definitely. But, like, it's like this, again, the steps you guys take to, like, make this truly and authentically a found footage film. Because, like, you could have, like, I'm sure a lot of studios do, is, like, they replicate the found footage field, but they are able to do this stuff in a set where they can check the screen to make sure the lighting is right. And it's like, no, this is a genuine found footage film. We need to figure out how to make this shit work, where we know we have the actors we need in the car, where it also, but it doesn't look like our creative team is hanging outside of fucking windows or some shit trying to make sure we get the shot. And it pays off as a viewer. Like, it genuinely feels like you are in the car with these people, like That was going to be the one thing I said, or you asked and you already kind of answered it, was just like making sure the quality of this film was usable, because it genuinely feels like you're just like, yo, toss you a camera, click record and just stand there. And it's like, and it is, you get the shot. And I was going to ask like how the hell you managed to find those shots in a genuine found footage sense, but you kind of answered a little bit of danger. Got to risk it to get the biscuit, yo.
But if anyone asks, they had seatbelts in the back.
Safety.
Safety is always.
Safety is very important on the film set.
Oh, for sure.
Yes. I mean, that's one of the messages we kind of tap into with this film, is like the lack of safety on a film set can be a danger to the cast, especially
in an indie film setting where you're not dealing with these huge budgets. Like, you know what I mean? Like a lot of big studios, they can afford the teams to help make sure that these things are safe. And it's like, how do small scale independent artists like you guys get a leg up, or even are able to hold a candle to these things when you guys aren't given those same lucrative type of expenses and things like that. And sometimes you have to get creative. You know what I mean?
No, I know. Like, look, we had a very amazing assistant director.
Oh, sweet.
But her name's Olivia. We had a moment where there was a big stunt that we were doing, and this is like day 9, because like after 8 days shooting up in Wisconsin, we went down. We were gonna shoot 2 days. I guess we're in Wisconsin both time, but a little in Racine. We were gonna do this like stunt, and everyone was just seeming a little tired, and just after. People had good spirit, but like we were tired. And she kind of was just like, look, like I truly believe that the best way to go about this is to just give people maybe a week or two, and we even go over the choreography a bit more. And at the very first, we were just kind of like, we're so close, right at the end. But then once we thought about it for more than 2 seconds, we're like,
it's like you're reluctant to go along with it, but ultimately it's the right move. And it's like, all right.
We were so dramatic about it too, because we took a poll from our cast and crew too. We were like, okay, do we want to try to get the film done tomorrow, or should we and I guess I said we filmed this in 10 days, technically 11, because we did end up coming back a couple weeks later after the holidays, and we filmed just the finale. Sequence, and it was ultimately the right call, because it was the actors a break.
Easily the right call, because we had about like 3 fight rehearsals with somebody who actually did fight choreography. Cool. His name's escaping me at the moment.
It's Nick Sandy.
No, but he was incredible. But I mean, the fight looked incredible. So it was easily
the right call.
In so many aspects, it was the right call.
And it's always hindsight's 2020. It's like, odds are, if you guys were to push it, like you guys probably could have pushed through and could have done it, but like, is the quality going to be there? Is the safety going to be there? Is everyone going to feel good about what they showed? And like sometimes taking a beat is the best move.
Yeah, for sure.
Even if we like filmed the fight scene perfectly from what we had planned, it would not even be near. But that's assuming nothing went wrong. Yeah. It's like, I don't know, something could go wrong, but
I think recharging is important in the filmmaking process, because this was on day 9, I think. So, and again, by the end of this trip, everyone was extremely burnt out. And I think it's important to ensure that the cast and crew is mentally prepared to go into a scene, because that can really lead to the making or the breaking of a scene.
I always like because we want to make movies. We're making movies and we're having an awesome time with it, and we feel a little bit confident each time. We're still learning. That's kind of what I mean. I feel like every filmmaker is still learning in a sense.
Yeah.
So
if they're doing it right,
but we were like, we'll never make that kind of mistake again.
Yeah.
Where we push the actors beyond their limit.
10 days straight. Yeah.
Even though they had such high energy, they were so ready to go. Yeah. Like we were just like, we need to just really like take a step back in those situations and look back, because we were just like, yeah, we're like, you know, we're ambitious, we're young.
Gas pedal to the floor, guys. Let's do it.
Exactly.
I'm the same way, dude.
Yeah,
like I'm the exact same.
yeah.
I'm just like, yo, why wait till tomorrow? We can knock this shit out right now.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Because like as we're talking, I'm just like, oh my gosh, like it was the clearest decision. On
But
that
at the
set.
time, at the time.
So that's why I'm like, it's good to have these moments in future.
Right. And I mean, I think initially too, even in the earlier stage of making this film, initially we thought we could get away with just having our cast of 5 plus the 6th character.
Yep.
Well, we won't name them. Could be a spoiler.
Who?
Yeah, who's no, new phone. Who this? Who? Yeah,
we'll talk about that.
We don't know who.
Yeah. We'll talk about that in the next episode. But we essentially we thought that we could just have our cast. We would have someone operating the camera, and then we would have somebody recording for sound. We weren't even considering, because again, we were so used to running and gunning it with our short films. We didn't consider the possibility of having additional people to be the assistant director.
Yeah.
Or I mean, we were co-directors.
Mm-hmm.
It was already an understanding that we understood that people were going to have to wear multiple hats. On a type of production like this, you're doing a little bit of everything. But it was a couple of months before we had set out to go and make this where it was Olivia, our assistant director, reached out and she said, hey, is there anything you guys are there any roles you guys are looking to fill? I could be an assistant director and just supervise the scheduling and the production coordination throughout the trip.
She held that set together.
No, for sure. We would have made a totally different film if it wasn't for her expertise, her experience, and her insight in scheduling a film shoot.
Yeah.
Because initially, again, I remember you and I had started to tackle the schedule, and again, just looking back on it, the hours were very absurd. I think we were looking to, get. She had
more experience than us, so so we would like tell her something, and kind of like Vince when we're writing, like she was just kind of like, all right, so here's my perspective. Yep. And then she would break it down, and we'd be like, you're right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because sometimes if you're filming scenes in the same locations, it's more wise to get those scenes done all in the same day.
Yeah.
Get the scenes done that you're filming in one space, all done back to back, and then go to the next place and get those scenes back to back. But yeah, we shot a lot of the film out of order. In fact, we shot the first scene in the film was one of the last scenes we filmed.
Yeah. Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a common thing you hear about. And like, was there a particular reason why that worked out that way? Just like,
it just like you said, like scheduling. It's like, what location are we going to be at? Like what act? Because there are times where it's like, all right, we're going to be here, but this actor can't be here, and we can only shoot their scenes this day.
Yeah, availability is a big part of it too.
Yeah, so it was just about that. It's just managing where you can.
Was there any point where you guys wanted to throw in the towel of like being like, you know what? I know we've come this far, but we're losing it. Fuck it. Let's throw in the towel. And like, and if that was the case, if you did have those moments, each of you, what kind of drove you back into being like, you know what? Let's power through this.
I don't believe we ever had a moment of just being like, let's throw in the
genuinely
like,
get out of it.
Absolutely. I mean, there were times where, I don't know, where it would just feel, it would just feel like a lot, and I would just feel like overwhelmed, and Wyatt would be like, yo, what's going on, man? Like, you need to go in the other room.
Check.
Take it. Yeah. And so, I mean, Wyatt's one of the main reasons, like, I got, like, through this, because, like I said, like, super nervous going into it.
Yeah.
But now that I've gone
Rightfully, too. I mean, you were the co-director, but you were also the lead actor. Mm-hmm. I mean, you were juggling those two big responsibilities for the project. I think that's why I look back and I'm so appreciative that we knew right away that we wanted to co-direct this. Yeah. Because again, like, it was our first feature film. Yeah. And we had aligning visions for it. And again, that allowed you, because I remember there were certain times when we were filming this project, we had to kind of split the responsibilities of the director.
I actually wanted to bring that up.
Yeah,
that's a really cool aspect of it. Like there are times where I've like had focused on shot composition, but what I really just worked with the actors like a lot and blocked out the scenes. And then there are times where Wyatt will come in, I show him what we blocked out. He would be like, I think we're gonna do this. Like this is better for the camera. And it was just it just felt like it just flowed. Way better than we like could have like even hoped for. Because there are just times where I mean, just setting up the cameras today, like it took like a hot second. So you have the actors over there, and you're just like, if you want to keep people alive, you got to have people like, you know,
that helps expedite the process.
Totally.
Was there any issue of like managing conflict on set? Not even just between you as the three writers, but like between you and the actors. Was there any conflict resolution that you guys had to flex and exercise while on set and while throughout the creative process?
There's one I remember, and Wyatt is super amazing under pressure. He always has been. There's like one time where I don't know what the context was. I just remember like I was just kind of like, you know, shouldn't we just like get the camera shot here, like whatever, because we're outside, it's cold. I'm like, shouldn't we just get that? And then Wyatt's just like, Aidan, you need to calm down. And I'm just like I am calm. And he's like,
but it's like
you're like, I'm freaking calm, dude.
I was just like, I am calm.
2 degrees.
You don't even know, not calm,
can't feel our
Wyatt.
fingers.
You don't even know, man. I'm so fucking calm.
That's exactly how it played out.
I was like, I'm calm, and he said, do it better.
Hey, if this is calm, I'm a little concerned. Okay, you need to reel it back.
That's what I mean. But since he's so calm, the way he said that, he's just like, do it better. I could hear in his voice, just kind of like lock in. And then as soon as he said that, I was like, it's really not that deep, you know?
Dude, honestly, that's friendship right there. Everybody needs a friend who's not afraid to tell them to just, hey, brother, lock in. You're losing your shit. Mm-hmm. Like that to me is friendship. And I talked about this on the last episode I recorded with Dario and Raul of like the idea of like if you genuinely love something or love someone, it's like you need to have the confidence to tell them like, hey, this ain't working, or like, hey, you're falling off, reel it back. And like, because like friendship and friendship, whether it be like through just genuine friendship or a collaborative artistic friendship, it's like you need to have that comfortability in that relationship to where you can be critical of the people you care about and them not take it personally, and instead be like, hey, I'm going to tell you this because I care about you, but you're losing your shit. Okay, this is fucked up, you know?
Yeah.
But in terms of altercations, we did not get into many.
No, I mean, not really.
Everyone just understood again.
It was never one where we needed like to have a talk.
No.
Like it's just it was just always just kind of like, all right, you know.
So like, good point.
To this day, we message just our big group chat of everyone involved with that project.
We're saying like, yo, let's go back to the cabin, man.
Let's run it back, man.
Yeah, but this time let's go up and let's just have fun and get back. No, let's not make the film.
Let's just play Cards Against Humanity. Cameras off, have a good time.
I mean, that would be that was the humorous like meta aspect to this whole thing. Was the film is about film students going up to a cabin looking to make a film, and that's exactly what we were doing too.
Yeah, there are times where like I'm just like, wow, Cards Against Humanity at a cabin like this, just drinking. It's a beautiful, like in the morning, there's like a frozen lake, the most beautiful sunrise you've ever seen. I'm like that could have been what we were doing.
I mean, the location. We've talked about location already, but like it is a beautiful location, especially for the genre that you guys were tackling with found footage, and kind of delving into like the genre choice. Right, you guys decided to do a found footage horror film, and I feel like a lot of found footage films lean towards a more horror element versus others. Like, do you think like what in your guys' opinions is the reason behind found footage and horror being so good together that you feel like works?
I got an answer if you want to go.
The only thing I'll quickly say is just limiting what the audience can see in the film. Was that what you were gonna say? I'm so sorry.
No.
This is immediately what came to mind.
I already had an answer, but that's
perfect.
That was actually perfect.
Yeah. I mean, again, because like there was when we were watching Creep, it drove us just insane.
Yeah.
Seeing only just a narrow view of what was in front of the character.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then you only have to rely on their slow and still movements through the house.
Yeah.
To really just,
it feels like you're seeing something you're not supposed to see.
Yeah.
And I think that's the big thing about it. Like, it can be hectic, and there are times where you are just denied a lot of things. But the idea that, okay, there's this footage, it's found footage, so not a lot of people have seen this, or it's like you could be in for anything.
I think what's cool too, and like it kind of feeds into both your points, is like the idea of like feeling emotion through camera movement, not even just from what the camera is seeing and focused on, but like you're able to get so much emotion from how a camera moves and feeling the fear of the person who's behind the camera moving it along with you. And I think it creates to that idea of like what the camera is seeing and what it isn't. It's like when someone's scared and like inching their way through a dark room or not knowing around the corner, you feel that in how the camera moves, not even just what it's focused on. It's like you see every individual slow step, or when they're running from something, you see that chaoticness of that shaky cam feel, and it invokes an emotion of anxiety and fear through the movement of the camera. And I found that to be such a cool thing too, because you guys play around with the differences in that a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Because like I know we've talked about Cloverfield a couple of times, but like I think that was something that I think actively worked against Cloverfield as a found footage film, is like because it is a monster movie where they're trying to escape something, it's like you're dealing with really only, and they maybe do a couple times, but primarily it's that shaky cam running away from something that you experience a lot versus that slow build and tension of like, oh, the camera's moving but really slowly, and like I feel the tension of the person who's behind the camera who I'm essentially following along in this movie or in this beat of time, you know. And it's just such a it's something why it's probably why I think found footage and horror work so well together. Because I don't think you'd feel that as much in other genres of film, being a found footage action film or a found footage rom-com, a found footage rom-com.
Like shaky cam like can be utilized in so many good ways.
Yeah.
It's like you can do it in a sense where it's like if it's like, you know, it's hectic, you're running, there's a way to do it, but like, you know, there's also a way to like really screw up shaky cam. And that's something that I really was like, we do not want to do that with our movie.
We're not here to get people motion sick.
But we even just, I think within the first 2 days of filming, we realized that, because there were times where we figured that we might be able to shoot a scene in less takes if I were operating the camera and then let's just say the protagonist Finley was standing beside me and just saying, because
saying the lines.
We watch a lot of the movie through her point of view and Ryan's point of view. Now you operated the camera just being not only the director but also being Ryan's character. Where some of the other characters operate the more simple camcorder too. But again, we realized that when they hold the camera, it's really an extension of, like you said, Xavier, their emotions and like the spontaneity of the situation that they're in. Because like whenever I would, you know, if somebody else is holding the camera, it might feel a little too still. It might feel just a little forced. And I think the audience can pick up on that.
That's just the fun thing.
The camera's a character of itself.
I think found footage comedies is a really would be like I haven't seen like a lot of found footage comedies.
Yeah, I can't say I've seen any.
Yeah, but I just feel like just the chaos you can create, that is what's like good about that. So with
kind of an untapped genre in the found footage space a little bit.
Totally
untapped.
So with it was just the face you were like untapped,
if you will. Yes, it is untapped genre.
And that was the other thing too, is we
finally someone comments on the weird fucking faces. Sometimes I'll watch these videos back and I'm like, I make some weird fucking faces, man. I wear my emotion on my face. Like there's no question of what I'm thinking. It's like right here in the eyes. I'm like, sometimes people will say something stupid and I'll make a face and they're like, you clearly thought that was dumb. And I'm like, yeah, caught me. All right, you caught me. I have opinions.
But we just in writing the script, we found ourselves very invested in the drama just between like the friends. We thought, you know, like this is just a really interesting, aside from the horror, the dynamic between the five friends is really interesting,
especially when you learn backstory.
Exactly, and we kind of built upon that with each draft, and it's, again, found footage is particularly notorious for fitting into the horror genre, being a subgenre. But again, we watched this film called Symbiocytotax. Taxoplasm? Is that what it's called?
Symbiocytotaxoplasm, take one.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that,
Dude,
that's
a title.
I can tell from your face you thought that was a pretty crazy.
Yeah, I was like, that is a mouthful.
No,
how many letters of the alphabet we use in that one?
It took us about, I think, a year to get that title down to a T. But I mean, it's a hidden gem of a film. But that was one of the inspirations. It's a film about this incompetent, and it's a real story too. It's a documentary.
I love telling people about it.
Yes,
I'm just like, I don't know if you've heard of this one.
Yeah, have you checked out this one film? Say it one more time. I already.
Symbiocytotaxoplasm, take one.
You know what? I've only seen take two. You know what?
They actually have take two.
I mean,
obviously,
I haven't seen it. You heard it.
Oh gosh,
we heard it wasn't as good as the first, but there is a take two.
There is a take two.
We were inspired by that film. I mean, just as much as we were inspired by the other
Creep and the Blair Witch Project. Yeah.
I mean, while we're on the topic of films with crazy ass names, you guys mentioned that Doc 5 had gone through a multitude of different names.
Yes.
Obviously, location was again sort of like the base of the pyramid of this project, but obviously it evolved into something else. What were the different names, and like why did we end up landing with Doc 5 as a name versus any of the other ones?
I just remember one of my favorite things about any project is coming up with a name. I find that so exciting.
I love a good title.
Yeah. So as we're just kind of like thinking about it, we're just like, all right, so what is happening? What's basically the crux of what's going on? And we're like, all right, so the director doesn't want them to leave, and he's very demanding, and he's annoying about it. What if we just called it "Don't Leave Yet"? And because the yet part adds personality. It's like you can just tell someone just like, "Don't leave yet. We have more to finish."
It's commanding and a question, so it kind of makes you wonder, like, okay, what's the story here?
Exactly. And we're like, all right, that's good. That's good.
For one hit wonder, we got it, guys. We got our title.
No, we were sure we landed on it, but continue.
All right.
Okay.
So I got them here.
All right. Let's work. I want to hear these bad boys.
Titles.
And are you my face again? You'll know my real world opinion in the moment.
I was about to say So I mean, we can like do this we can do it a couple of ways. We can do like a thumbs up. We can just do we'll just talk about it for 2 seconds and we'll just get the consensus that way, or we'll just we can just tell immediately by our facial reaction. Well, that won't be good for a podcast.
Yeah.
And in the comment section, if you hear any of these titles and you think they sound interesting, put whichever one your favorite is in the comment section.
All right, here we go, guys.
All right, I'll give you a thumbs up, thumbs down. Thumbs up.
I know some of these.
All right, here we go.
Thumbs up, thumbs down, or just a verbal comment. All right, first one, location. There's still some merit to it.
There's some merit. It's a little vague.
Our co-writer Vincent, he fought for that title.
He won.
Oh, that's right. He did.
He loved that title. He was like, guys, it's short, it's simple, but I mean, I think him and we eventually came to the realization that it's a little too simple.
I will say it's a good title. I will say it makes me curious, but not in like a I want to know more kind of way. Where like some of the other one you mentioned, I feel like kind of does that a little bit better.
Yeah.
Plus, I feel like, you know what, we have a project named that already. Let's make this its own autonomous thing.
Totally, man.
But so location, I'll give you a sideways thumb. I'm
gonna give a sideways thumb as well. Okay. We're watching.
Okay. It's cool because like it plays on the found footage element as an audience we're watching this happen. Obviously it's a horror film that deals with some stalker-ish elements to it, not to give too much away, but so we're watching works for that too.
That was us too, man.
I'm gonna give it a thumb. Honestly, I'm gonna give it a thumbs down.
Well,
it's not bad.
I'm misunderstood.
With that title too, I think we were more so thinking from like the point of view of the antagonists.
Yeah.
But then we realize, okay, well, again, like the story doesn't really, the overarching story isn't about the killer in the woods, right?
Yeah.
They play an important part of the story, but we got to call the film something that speaks to like the message.
I feel like it kind of blows your wad a little early.
Yeah.
Like it kind of paints too vivid of a picture of what you're kind of going into. Especially again, if you think about it from a found footage horror film, it's like, from that title, I know exactly what I'm kind of in for.
Exactly.
Sure.
All right.
Yeah. What else?
So I'll give a thumbs down to that.
All right. So we got Don't Leave Yet.
Don't Leave Yet.
I still think there's something to it.
I will give that one a thumbs up.
The only problem with Don't Leave Yet that we eventually ran into was that for a good while the film was called Don't Leave Yet.
Yeah.
In fact, it's still on our IMDb accounts that we
like the hour 25 or hour 25-minute version of the film.
Yeah. We made a film called Don't Leave Yet, that we released in 2024.
Yep.
So the thing about that title is that Aidan and I ran into a similar observation. And that's when we brought up the film to people who had seen it in the past. A lot of people sometimes they were very they were nice to compliment and recall the film based on their experience with it. But then they would sometimes go, "Oh yeah, but then remind me what was it called again?"
Yeah.
And we would have to constantly remind them, it was called Don't Leave Yet. But that's
it's a brutal feeling.
Yeah, but we realized over time, like, okay, maybe that just wasn't a memorable title.
Yeah.
I will say that I feel like there are a lot of films that have similar-ish titles of like that. And I'm sure they're trying to emulate the same feeling that you guys are trying to with your film of like it's demanding, so it invokes that level of like, ooh, why are you telling me what to do, while also being a question and making it kind of curious. But like, comedies do it like it's I will say it is a good title. I'll give it a thumbs up. Yeah, but I think it does. I think it does kind of it needs that memorable.
Yeah,
like
could get lost in the sauce.
It gets lost in the sauce.
And I hope to revisit this. But when a mentor much later on in the process came along, he told us that we should consider changing the film title.
You want to reveal that like later on, or
we'll dive into that later.
Okay, cool. All right. Okay, we're getting into the really rough ones.
Okay, cool. I'm excited.
Stand By.
That one's weak. I feel like as an what's beautiful about me is I get to be like the everyman in this and like listening to it and like. Obviously, I've seen the film twice and know what it's called, but like, again,
that's the best part.
Looking at it, like knowing what the film is, hearing that, like if I was to just like scroll YouTube or Netflix or whatever, and I'm just looking like, oh, here's this film called Stand By. I feel like you're telling me to stand by for whatever's happening, and like I don't have that kind of time.
So immediately, like I'm waiting.
I'm kind of like, I'm gonna need to wait for something, and like my little ADHD brain, I need to know that I'm in for something good, or like they're at least going somewhere. And Stand By I feel like it's telling me to wait, and I'm like, no, on principle, I'm not going to do it.
I'm surprised. I think we just like looked at each other and we're like, nah. I still have it written down for. Oh my god, wait. Okay, at the time,
thumbs down for Stand By. Thumbs down,
dude. At the time, this was under one of my favorits of like
Stand By.
Let's hear it.
So Aidan has shitty taste. No, just kidding. Just kidding.
It was like a lot of changes in the years, guys.
Yeah.
All right. Off script.
Okay, that one's not terrible.
There's like that's also one of my favorite lists.
Better than Stand By. I will say better than Stand By.
I think so too. Yeah.
I think it. I feel like it does paint a very good idea of like, oh, you're in for a found footage film. Yeah. But I don't think it plays enough into the horror element enough to like know that like, oh, I'm in for a found footage horror film.
Talks about the movie they're making.
Yeah. And I think it's okay.
Going off script.
It is. It is better than Stand By. I will say better than Stand By. Okay. Better than Stand By.
All right. Oh my god. Okay. So the director of the movie, his name's Ryan.
Yep.
So we have a film by Ryan.
Best one. Best one.
Oh wait, right. He loves it.
I actually thought it was all right.
Why loves it?
I also a lot of the out there titles.
I always thought it was all right, but not in the sense of let's use it. It was just kind of like that's a fun idea that we'll never do.
I will say if I were to see that, I don't know if I would. I don't know if I'd know what I was watching. I think I think I would look at that and be like, oh, someone clearly forgot to give this thing a title. Like they're just like,
that's a brutal.
Someone forgot to give it a title. They just like
If anyone thinks that looking at a title, that is brutal.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, I mean, you gotta just, as the filmmaker, you gotta take yourself out of that. And make the title as commercially viable as possible.
And I will say, after having seen the film, I think it's like a good title. But if I hadn't seen the film at all and had no idea, I would assume that someone forgot to give this YouTube video a title.
The title is something that's going to cause.
This episode is called Podcast by Xavier.
Yeah. Anyway, should we? Is there one more?
Oh, there's a couple.
Horrible title.
I'm gonna get to like the worst ones.
Dude, love this.
All right, Getaway.
Yeah.
Okay, it's all right.
All right, I'm gonna give that a thumbs down. Probably.
I'll give that one a sideways thumb because Getaway it invokes the question of what are they getting away from, but.
Yeah. All right. Ooh. Okay. So we got the production or production.
very simple.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, bro.
I would also probably look at that one as the same vein as a film by Ryan this is some young kid who's just workshopping some shit.
Dude,
that's like, oh yeah, don't watch this. I'm just practicing something. Like,
dude, it might be worse than a film. A film by Ryan might have substance, but like production,
dude.
Isn't it? All right. Oops, sorry. Wait.
No, go ahead.
All right, yeah. So I got 5 more. I don't want to spend too much time on this.
You're good. I'm thoroughly enjoying this.
All right, we'll like
rapid fire.
All right. All right. Last take.
Honestly, I give a thumbs up. Okay. Last take is kind of cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Last take, I kind of cooked with that.
Something
It's
there.
got merit, for sure.
There's something there.
There's something there. Wait, what did you think though?
I don't think it's a horrible title. I wouldn't run with it, but
great.
middle of the road.
Okay.
You read it and you get a feeling of impending doom, which is kind of cool.
Okay, cool.
But I will say, other than that, it's mid. Other than that, but I'll say not bad. It cooks.
I was going to say, that was actually surprising. I forgot about that one. Okay. Behind the scenes.
I would assume again, same thing as production.
Like,
I'd be like, this is behind the scenes for something I've never seen before. So cool. Totally gonna watch that.
I just feel like that would cause so many issues.
I think it would too.
Like people would be like, what is this behind the scenes of? And they're like, oh crap. This might be the worst. A student film.
Yes.
Okay.
I will say
I didn't hate that one.
This is the stuff me and Vince like deal with. Is like we'll be like something that feels objectively the worst, while we'll be like, hold on now, like there might be something to this.
I again, having seen the film, I get where the title comes from.
Yep.
I would once again assume that I'm just gonna watch some rando student film with no point to it. I'd be like, this is just a student film that someone made.
If you knew it was a horror movie going into
I'd be like, then
no, I mean that's cool. Like, what's the movie called? No, it's called a student film.
They're like, I know that's what it is, but what's it called?
How do I?
Dude, where's my car?
How do I?
Where's your car, dude?
All right, so we'll get to the next bad title.
Yes.
Or just title. I don't want to put a preconceived notion on it. Production value.
I would assume I'm looking at someone's budget report for a production of something.
Yeah.
I'd be like, all right, I'm gonna look at some spreadsheets.
You're like, I don't turn on YouTube to
crunch numbers, kid. Trust me, I don't put on YouTube to fucking math, kid, guys. I'm not out here doing fucking Excel spreadsheets and formulas and cells, okay? I will say that is what I get from that. I'm like, I'm gonna be looking at someone budgeting a film and
oh my god, dude.
How much it costs, and I'm like, I'm already poor. I don't need reminding. Jesus.
Yeah. Oh my goodness gracious.
That one's funny.
I have a newfound respect for that one now. All right, this is the last one.
Sure.
Actually, wait, there is one after that. That's not on the list, but we'll talk about it.
Final two.
Red light.
No.
Confused.
Because of red.
It sounds like
a red light movie.
Oh, the record button. That was
You
didn't get that right away.
Yeah, idiot. What the hell, man?
I would think that's a Christmas movie about Rudolph.
Did you make it up? I think it was you.
I did. I most certainly.
Wyatt's like, I've liked every stupid title up to this point, but this one's not mine.
I came up with a student film. That'll.
Ryan is like, I might like some stupid stuff, but I will not take credit for that, dude. No credit. Just kidding. Red light. I think of like Red Light District, or I think of Christmas. I think of Red Light.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Red Light Chicken.
Hey.
Ooh, hey. And then what's the last one?
All right, so the last one, this is when we were like, all right, don't leave yet. We got to come up with a new title, guys. So it was me, Wyatt, Vince, and then Vince's brother Patrick, a co-editor on the film. Mm-hmm. We all just kind of like talked about it, and we're just like, we need to like really think of something. And then I was like, all right, everyone just like say what they're thinking. I'm going to write it down and put something together. And so they all just said whatever. And I was like, all right. And I said a bunch of terrible ones. And then I was like, all right, what about this? The Vision.
Now, like, I don't know what we were on, but
all four of us for the whole night we're like almost like we're like, where's like the vodka? We got cheers to this. Like,
you're like, we did it, guys.
We did
wrap it up. We found it.
Yep.
We've done it. We've done it again, ladies and gentlemen. We
fucking brilliance.
Exactly. Yeah. We all woke up the next day. And we made a group chat called The Vision.
Y'all were in it. Y'all locked in. You had merch already. You guys were ready to rock.
You gotta sleep on this stuff though, because the next day it was like, we
were blind. We were blinded. I don't even know what by. There's not. I don't. Yeah, we were like The Vision because Ryan has a vision in the movie, and he.
You're tapping into the MCU's algorithm real quick.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Everyone Googling the Vision.
Oh no. Yeah, everyone's gonna.
I will say, Vision. Glad you guys slept on it. It's not the worst one on the list. Mm-hmm. I can confidently say that. But I'm glad you guys slept on it.
You still thinking of student film?
Yeah, I'll say that one. That one I think would probably be that one, and I think Standby. I think those are the two worst. Actually, no, I think Standby's the worst. I think
Standby is the worst. Oh my gosh,
the worst. Yep. That one just tells me that I'm waiting, and I'm just like, I don't want to.
That's such a good. I can't believe that never came to mind. I was just kind of like, we can do better. It wasn't like, that makes the most sense.
I can just picture a student film in like red letters.
And I think, if I saw the font and I saw the vision, Vision,
all lowercase too.
Yeah, I think maybe.
Come on, you see it now too.
I think maybe there's something. Of course, I
see it. Yeah,
in red font
for sure. So then, why did we land with Doc 5?
So I the three of us, we all had to come up with some kind of title, and then we just met each other just one night, and I'm like, all right. Let's do this. So I said I can't even remember a single one I came up with, but I felt actually pretty confident about it. Wyatt had the worst, and he knew it was the worst. He was messing with us through and through,
straight trolling.
Mind you, and remember how I brought up the importance of a deadline earlier on in the podcast? I said, I don't know if you remember me sending this text, Aidan, but I said, okay, guys, here's the deal. If we don't come up with a new title for the film in 24 hours, we're sticking to Don't Leave.
Yeah.
We're sticking to it because we hadn't actually done a full release for the film yet. We had shown the film at 2 different theaters and we had sent it to some film festivals. It screened at the unnamed Found Footage Film Festival too.
Oh, hell yeah.
But we got to a point, some months had passed by and we weren't really pursuing like a wider distribution process.
Yeah.
So this was then when we were thinking about what are the next steps we wanted to take with this film? Is Don't Leave Yet still a good title? Could we rename it something? We even crunched down on the runtime of the film. Mm-hmm. It was closer to an hour and a half, and then our brilliant 2 editors, Vincent, who's also a co-writer on the film. That's an interesting thing too, is he wrote the script but also edited the film and
also did the original music in the end credits.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's fucking cool.
Multiple hats.
Yeah.
And
the Universal Man.
And honestly, not even just multiple hats, but like multiple hats and in different areas too. Because like Aidan obviously wrote it in the film, Wyatt writing and directing it, or co-directing it, and then you have Vincent writing it and being part of the editing process. Like that's kind of like I imagine that was super helpful kind of later on in post-production.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry, no, I feel like I just had to provide that context.
For sure, totally.
Why we were changing the title.
I think it's good because deadlines are important, man. Yeah. Especially just like setting them for yourself. And then we all just told ours. I'm trying to remember one of yours that you said.
Oh, I really liked the ones I came up with.
Can you name one?
There was one that I came up with called, ready for this, Xavier?
I'm ready, dude. I'm buckled up.
Art Against Humanity.
A fun play on words. A little fun play on the game.
Yeah, he was not happy, nor was Vince. But again, it was.
He's like, come up with the best title you can. And we're gonna meet tonight.
Hey, I came with, but
you sure did come with it.
That was part of the deadline, though. You came with what you thought of.
Yep.
And you ran with it. But this is the other thing too. Is when we got to Vincent, we said, okay, like which titles did you come up with? He said, okay, so he came up with better ones like you did. But then he said, oh, okay, well,
I had this one idea.
That's exactly how he said it. He said, I had this one idea. It's not polished yet, but what if we did something where, the title was almost like a file name? Call it like cut _X.
Or like MOV,
something like that. Yeah, he said just something like a file name. And you and I sat on it and we were like,
I think you
never thought about it that way.
I think you thought of the doc part. I think that might have been you.
The next day after he had pitched us that title, he said, what if we think in that direction? Because we were thinking in terms of like what the story was actually about, but he was the one who said, oh, well, what if we try to name this like other found footage films? There are, several ones like Wreck is a good one, VHS.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Gives you an idea. He said, why don't we try to think that direction? Okay. Like, let's go that direction in terms of thinking of the titles. And then we landed on Cut doc_05. I think that evening we were all like, ooh.
Doc 5 came up. Oh, we were still like, all right, maybe, but
workshopping some other different file-ish type names.
Exactly. It's like we're thinking of like Doc 5 is brought up. We're like, all right, okay, cool. We got Cut 5, and we're pretty confident in that. And then I truly think it was like Vince or Wyatt, or maybe both of them, like I think talked about and they liked it, and then they started making posters, and I came back from like class or something, and they showed me the poster, and I'm like, Doc 5, like it's Doc 5. That's the movie. It's Doc 5, and
it flows, feels right.
And somehow, and everyone we've talked to about it, Vince said he like told his dad, and he said like his dad enjoys movies. He's not like someone who like constantly analyzes them or something, but like, you know, the perfect person to talk to.
An enjoyer of films.
Just someone who enjoys films, and he's just like, yo, like what did you think? What do you think of Doc 5? And he's like, and he still thinks it's called Don't Leave Yet. So, and Vince's like, yeah, what do you think of Doc 5? He's like, oh, that's a better title. He was like, yeah, that's better.
He's like, love that engine.
Mind you, though, I mean, it was pretty split for a little while.
Yeah.
We had some people who were still adamant about us using Don't Leave Yet.
You had to marinate
it was a good title.
We did, yeah.
Which, hey, I mean, even to this day, who knows how that title would have lasted with our audience.
Yeah. I'm surprised.
I'm glad we didn't end up doing it, but I wonder.
It's always a curiosity thing of like what the impact or how it would have been different if obviously hindsight, things like that.
Because as like the directors of the film, we want to do right by the cast. We don't want like we it sucks when it's just like we're waiting to get a cut of the film and like we can't show you guys anything yet.
Yeah.
And then we're like coming up with the title and we're just like, well, now they're used to Don't Leave Yet, but we're like, it's just it's like a decision. We were just like, I feel like we need to make something that we're really proud of, and you know, just tell them that this is what we're going with, and this is like, we want to hear your thoughts, but this is something that we're definitely want to go with. And they liked it, and they all liked it, which was really a relief. And I'm just surprised that a month later didn't go by, and we were just kind of like, what were we thinking?
Fucked up.
We now have like, people have actually started viewing this movie, and I want to change the title.
Yeah,
and I don't
once it's out there, it's like good luck backtracking on it later.
No,
you can't.
sure.
Oh,
now without convoluting
that's
things.
where we got lucky though too. Is the film had kind of sat on a shelf for a while.
Yeah,
and we realized, hey, a very limited amount of people have seen this film, and a lot of those people were friends, family, classmates,
close to your network.
We really, at this point, we had not gotten this project out to our target audience, which are found footage enthusiasts. So we thought, okay, what kind of title is also going to convey that this is a found footage film?
Yeah,
and that's why I think thinking of it as like a file name, definitely, it was a more visual title.
Yeah.
And again, I think we decided on Doc instead of Cut because, again, you can play around and interpret the word Doc, but that film has more to say about... That film is, I think, supported by the plot more than Cut.
I think so too, and I think Doc 5 it checks the boxes that you need it to without giving too much of the plot away. Where I think maybe Don't Leave Yet maybe gives a little bit too much of what you're in for. I like the idea of it being a file name because again that invokes the found footage element of everything, or like sort of that unpolished found footage feel.
Yeah.
It invokes curiosity, I think, especially from found footage enthusiasts who are very tuned into what that genre is and what can be done in that genre and what that genre looks like. So I think honestly Doc 5 is a great name. I've said it a bunch of times. I thoroughly enjoyed watching it the 2 times that I did and diving into the project.
And people remember it. That's the thing, is I think
the
title
it's easy to
kind of
remember.
Requires you to wrestle with it.
Sometimes they'll say like, is it Doc 05 or Doc 05 or just Doc 5? But I'm just like, either way, they still got it.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's at that point, it's like you can really call it whatever you want. At that point,
it's like you get like if you search it up, like it will pop up. Like if you, so I'm like, that's what matters most, you know.
So I know we're getting close to time for this episode, but there's a couple things I want to touch base. And one thing I want to touch base on is the success of the project. Like at time of recording, I looked it up earlier today. Over 100,000 views on YouTube. Was that something you guys went into this project expecting, or like being like confident, like we got this, or was this just like, all right, we're just doing this because we really enjoy it. Let's hope to God some people like it. And what was the feelings you guys had when you guys did start to realize that it was circulating around the found footage space?
You want to take it first, or?
I remember when we were debating which direction to take the distribution plan for this film. Mm-hmm. Because initially we thought, okay, what would be the best home for this film? Would it be something like Tubi? Would it be Shudder? We had a couple of options.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting how far we've come in terms of our thinking when it comes to distributing this film. Because a couple of years ago, I think YouTube was always the fallback plan, right? I don't think we never even really pondered on it or considered it. But as we were thinking of ways to go about this, I'll just bring this up now. We got in touch with the co-director of the Blair Witch Project.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
It was, again, I mean, long story short, someone that I know worked on the set of a project that he was doing. He very graciously went up and said, oh, hey, like, I know these students in college who made this found footage film. Would you want to get in touch with them and check out their film? And Eduardo Sanchez, the co-director of the Blair Witch Project, said, yeah, I'd love to check it out. He really appreciates the timelessness of the genre, right? Because he knows that Blair Witch Project had a large impact on a lot of the preceding films.
Yeah.
In
still
found footage that
still
came out.
Does.
Right. And so
totally,
he loves to see how, each found footage film that he watches is able to kind of do its own thing, how it's able to take this boiling pot of different inspirations and still stay true and authentic to that genre.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we were talking with him, and one of the most, he said you guys should really consider uploading it to YouTube. And
nice. So it was him that sort of like was like, hey, YouTube should be on your radar as an option.
Yeah.
He said we should really consider it. And it took us time to really make a final decision. But after a while, you and I were looking on YouTube, and we noticed that a large amount of found footage fans seek out their content on YouTube.
Yeah, absolutely. And I remember Milk and Cereal.
That was a big one, yeah.
Yeah, Charles Barker.
Curry Barker.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Edit that out.
Yeah. Close enough.
But we saw like Milk and Cereal. It's from like someone named Curry Barker. And
Yeah.
Just cut the whole thing out. I don't want. Give me one.
No. You're good.
Give me a second. All right.
Yeah.
Erase. Reboot. YouTube is a good place for found to go for found footage. It was interesting because he also said like if we put the film like on Netflix, even though that's a big platform, he said it would have. I said this at one point, like earlier, it would get lost in the sauce.
Yeah.
And
lost to the algorithm and shit, especially with like what is deemed popular on Netflix versus not. It's like you don't, at least in my algorithm, I don't see a lot of that stuff advertised or pushed as much.
But we realized too, like the YouTube algorithm is something we could use to our advantage, right? Because if we choose a lot of the right words to maximize, the search engine optimization, because we put in the title a found footage horror film, we spent about a week on the thumbnail. We spent so long getting that thumbnail just right. Had so many arguments about it in terms of, okay, like which side should Max's face be on? Should this thumbnail be color graded to look more green or more blue? How big should the title on the thumbnail be? Where should the title be on the thumbnail? A lot of decisions. But again, like I think because we were so attentive to those details, we had to answer one of your questions. We knew that we were risking the film not getting a lot of views because, you were saying how if we were to put it on a different streaming platform, it could get lost in the sauce. But YouTube is, ultimately it's an everything platform, right?
Yeah.
You're competing with other feature films. You're competing with just this whole array of
the masses.
Content and the masses, So, and again, we knew that we were taking that risk, but we realized, if we don't doing this is a heck of a lot better than keeping the film on the shelf. Yeah. We were just hungry to get it out there finally.
Yeah. And then the response, we've just been absolutely like incredulous to. Like it's just funny because I feel like just for a lot of people that make films, like they I think you like kind of said the point earlier where you're just kind of like, I just want to put it out there. I hope to God people like it, and that's all you can really do. And then if, like we started to see that it was getting like over thousands of views, and we were just, ecstatic. We were super excited that people were taking the time to watch it and even like comment.
Yeah.
And the comments have been like, like very positive. But what I love about it is that I'm glad we got like both ends of the spectrum in terms of just like comments. Cause there are people that say that, they really love this movie. And then there are people that say like it is the worst movie they've ever seen.
Sure.
Yeah. And I think that's like, that's great to me. I mean, like I remember like someone asked, they're just like, oh yeah, like and someone just said like, how do you feel about that? I'm just like, honestly, I think it's better than if it got like, a really good review,
unanimously good or unanimously bad.
Yeah, like and they're just and they're just like, how does that make sense? I'm like, okay, I don't like it better, but what I do, but I like that people are looking at this movie and they are they are not treating it like they are treating it like a movie. They're treating it like a project that like, because if it was just like, if we just made a film and everyone just kept, saying like, oh yeah, great job, like it wouldn't feel great. But there are people watching it that are, that are being completely honest with what they thought. And I think that's great.
Yeah. And I think there's a level of constructiveness that obviously comes from both sides, both positive and negative. And something that I had noticed is like most of the positives skew towards positive, at least on YouTube when I was scrolling. But it seems like it's taken the eye of found footage enthusiasts in a way where they are giving you that feedback, but they're exclaiming why they're saying what they're saying. Sure. And like even I found myself reading a handful of those comments being like, that is so interesting, like the way you put that, or the way it makes you critically think about other found footage films and how you guys utilize the genre too. And I imagine there's a lot to fucking learn from that,
There is.
The found footage audience is really smart too.
Absolutely.
Super smart. And I mean, again, like some people just sleep, eat, and breathe found footage. They don't want to watch anything else, and I respect that. And even when it comes to the negative comments, Aidan and I love reading through them as it reflects just something that we can continue to improve on in our future projects,
Yeah.
Because I think that's also important to understand too, is okay, well, we're glad that we made the film at the end of the day, and sure, if we wanted to go back and redo some things, that's not a conversation that we often have, but most important thing is to just do it and put it out there. The feedback is going to consist of a wide range of responses.
Mm-hmm. I love that, y'all. And honestly, shout out to you guys again for being as young in your artistic fields as you guys are, as well as just being young individuals too. Like to accomplish something that has garnered so much like oversight from other people and feedback from others, like it's fucking incredible. And last question before we go into the shameless plug and we sign off for this episode is like, what do you guys have any future projects you guys are working on that you guys can talk about either together or individually? And if not, are you guys enjoying this time of having this project done for a while and taking a little bit of a gap time?
Yeah, so there's something I've been working on for like the last like a couple of months is I've been trying to do this like publicity stunt to like my favorite movie of 2025 was The Long Walk.
Okay.
It's one of my favorite novels of all time. So I've been trying to get this script in front of Lionsgate because Lionsgate distributed The Long Walk adapted film. I was like, all right, to build some publicity, I'm going to do a walking challenge where I walk for 24 hours. And so me and some of my buddies, Vince actually was one of the drivers and one of the producers. He like throughout the day, like they would just check in on me and we just filmed the entire thing. And there were some times where it was really challenging and like the weather it went in so many different places. But I was able to get a little over 2 full marathons.
Oh shit.
And so the whole point of that is that, all right, so we're going to turn this into a YouTube video, almost a Mr. Beast style thing. And the whole idea is that we're just like, the reason this is happening, and I just want to reach out to other creatives because the idea is that me and my buddies were also just creatives. We're just showing how much we love this industry, how much we want to work in it. And so me doing this challenge to kind of show Lionsgate like, hey, I got something that I really want to show you guys just a chance to pitch it, not get it made, just pitch it. Because I worked in talent management when I did a DePaul quarter in LA. And it's interesting, like COVID changed the game because there are pitches just happening over Zoom. It was never like that before. So I'm just like, just like a Zoom meeting, Lionsgate gives this idea. Whether they go with it or not doesn't matter. But the point is, everybody involved with this walking project, just getting, as many views as we can from that, getting that kind of like trying to get known for something, that means something. And people being able to be like, oh yeah, like I help work on that, and it like helps them, get jobs. That means something. So I think at the end of the day, it's like I'm making that video to just help hopefully cultivate some kind of following and just build a little bit more of a name for me and my buddies.
Hey, that's awesome, man. That's super badass.
Yeah.
Why? How about you, man? Anything?
Definitely check out this project when it comes out.
Hey, looking forward to it.
Yeah, and that's one project that Aidan's involved in right now. The other one he's involved in that I'm also involved in too is we made another film last year. It's entitled Butterflies. He's the lead actor. I wrote and directed the script. And the film follows a young college student navigating his dating life, trying to find a girlfriend. But one of the approaches that we took with this story is we were going to have no dialogue. We were going to shoot it in black and white. And it was going to be this noir-style story where the entire film takes place in this college boy's head. As he's perceiving and overthinking and wishing that his, desire to have a girlfriend comes into fruition.
Now, a question about this project. Is it done in true silent film fashion where there's dialogue shown, or is it genuinely no dialogue and it's all through visual?
You'll have to...
Oh, I can't. I knew you were going to fucking say that. I knew you were going to. Damn it.
To not do that.
No.
It's not, I wouldn't say it's not really... It's not a silent film.
Sure.
I wouldn't label it as that. It's just... The film...
It's experimental, in my opinion.
We love a good experiment.
The audience receives their information from the main character's inner monologue.
Okay.
And what you see on camera is kind of like the visual memoir of like the main character, so to say. It's kind of it's a visual counterpart to what he's narrating and what you're seeing on screen.
Hey, love that. Yeah. Hey, I'm excited to check it out, both projects as well as what comes down the line.
Yeah. Totally.
Shameless plug time, guys. If people watching, whether they watch Doc 5 and they found this podcast through that, or vice versa, if they're listening and then they check out Doc 5, how would they look up you guys on either socials or more information? How would they find Doc 5 on YouTube if their algorithms aren't set to that kind of stuff? Shameless plug. Aidan, we'll start with you, brother.
Yeah, you can just follow me on TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram, just all under Aidan Culver. And you can just put Aidan Culver Films, and I should pop up.
Yeah, I mean, same for me. My name's Wyatt Knoell. Last name is spelled Knoell. And if you want to go check out Doc 5, it's DOC_05 and then space a found footage horror film. You want to find it on YouTube.
Do not look for a student film. Do not look for that.
Don't look for Red Light.
I mean, no problem. And honestly, again, listeners, if you're listening to this because you know Out of the Rut and you're finding out about these guys through this, I cannot recommend the film enough. It's a good hour 15. It's an easy watch. It's a good time. Obviously, I'm a little biased because I know you guys and I know some of the actors in the film too, but it is a genuine good time, especially if you love horror, if you love found footage. I literally enjoyed it both times I watched it. Highly recommend. Check it out. But as always, listeners, my name's X is Out of the Rut. Feel free, please like, subscribe on YouTube. Leave us a comment. We have our subreddit if you ever want to submit anonymous stories, r_out-of-the-rut-podcast. If you ever want to listen to us talk about your personal struggles, things like that online, and give you our opinions, we'd love to have you submit to that. But otherwise, feel free to check us out on Spotify, Amazon Podcasts, all that good stuff. Stay lit, never quit, be ready for part 2.